Good evening, televiewers. Welcome to this other edition of Prime Hour on My Media Prime. And as tradition demands on this program, we are going to be talking about relationships today. We are going to be looking at understanding and managing extreme abuses in a relationship and a marriage. We also are going to be looking at part 2 of silent killers in marriage and relationship. We are discussing these two topics with our regular panelists who are already seated in the house. We are in the company of our consultant, Apostle Ambe Valentine. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, viewers of Prime Hour. Good evening, Cameroonians. We are here again for another edition of Prime Hour, especially relationship matters. We're very sure and convinced, based on the messages and the calls you've been making, that this program has been a blessing to you. Thank you for giving us your ears and your attention. God bless you.
We are also company of another man of God. He's taking part on this program for the very first time. I don't know, there's Apostle Pastor Tabi. We are glad to have you with us for the first time.
Good evening, Mr. Kum, and good evening, Cameroonians. It's a pleasure having me in your house, and we are going to be discussing these very delicate issues in a very careful manner that will arrange so many things that is happening in our society today. Thank you.
Yes, also with us she's not taking part on Prime Hour for the first time, but a series on relationships, she's taking part for the very first time. Parchibel, Feka is here with us. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Leo. Good evening, panelists. Good evening, televiewers. It is a pleasure for me to be a part of this program, especially as it concerns relationships, and with the way most relationships, especially marriages, are. I think it is just the appropriate program for the appropriate time.
Okay. We are also in the company of the Love Doctor, Apostle Lefor Divine, all the way from Boya, Southwest Regional Capital. We're glad to have you with us this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Leo, and good evening to the viewers of My Major Prime. It's really an honor. I'm very glad. I'm excited. It's relationship matters, and I'm always excited when it's relationship matters. You know, when the doctor comes in, he's always glad to talk.
Okay, we are glad that very many persons are getting delivered. Yes. Because the deliverance is not when you shake it. The deliverance comes when you get the right information.
Yes.
So many persons are getting delivered from watching this program.
The feedback shows.
Yes. So I'll start with you, Apostle. When we talk of abuse, extreme in relationship, in marriage, what are we talking about?
Yeah, before I answer a question, I want to greet all the organizers of Couples Corner. It's a program that is coming up. It's going to be a blessing to most couples. Thank you. Getting back to your question, abuse in marriage ranges in different capacity. We'll start by saying that abuse is the word abuse is an American word that is blended together as abnormal use. So they chop the normal, they have abuse. So abnormally using something means you're not using the thing rightly. Now, when we talk about abuse in marriage, it has different segments. There is emotional abuse. There is physical abuse. There is sexual abuse in marriages. And if we don't define these specific segments of abuse in marriage, we may generalize it, and then many people may leave this program without understanding particularly what abuses actually stand for, because not everybody is going through the same kind of abuse in a relationship. Some are going through psychological abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, as well as sexual abuse. I know it's very strange for people to hear that somebody goes through sexual abuse in marriage, because sex is legal in marriage. And how can somebody be abused sexually in marriage? It can, and it's very possible, because people do things in marriage not because they are compelled to. You have to do it out of conviction. Now, when it comes to the place of emotional abuse, it has to do with the feelings of each other. There are people who do not bother how the other persons feel. And what are the things that provoke emotional abuse? Words, insults, when you make people feel inferior, there are men, when they live with a woman, they make the woman feel very inferior, unqualified, and incompetent around them. Probably the woman may not be competent in an area. It doesn't mean that she is totally incompetent. In cases where the man is educated and the woman is not, and vice versa, there is always this emotional abuse. You make somebody feel inferior. That inferiority complex you implant in the human psyche makes somebody very insufficient, and their best can never come out. The second is physical abuse. There are people, male, otherwise female, that beat others for any little error that is done. The truth is, maturity in marriage is a capacity to absorb shock. As a woman or a man, there are things that will push you to an extent you have to react. We face those things in our houses. Women are flippant. Out of anger, they may speak to you because they want you to respond. They are not speaking to you because they want you to hear. For instance, they may say something and you don't respond. They will have to say something harder that will make you respond. If you don't respond, they will say something hardest.
You be man.
Are you a man? Yes. Because they get so frustrated, immediately they are speaking and you are not responding. So they have to throw a word that will must push you to react. When you start reacting to them, they have attained their goal. On the other hand, it's the same thing. There are some men who make women who make simple errors. For instance, a woman can make a mistake in preparing a food, a pot of food. That singular error on that day, a man can capitalize it and insult. There are other men also who are drunkards or drunks. They may come and then after drinking the alcohol, they vent their anger on a woman. So abuses on this thing is on both sides. Then the third thing we have is sexual abuse. Sex is supposed to be something that has to come from your emotion and from your feelings. When you force somebody out of his will and emotion, you are abusing the person. Because according to the law, there is something we call judicial separation, not divorce. In judicial separation, you people don't go through the process of divorce, but you can separate. Within that period, it is considered that when you touch a woman within that period, when she doesn't want it, you are raping her. Not because both of you have divorced. It's the same thing that you can be legally married to a woman and you try to force your way into her when she's not in the mood. It's considered as rape.
And what if it's the woman who does same?
I'm talking about vice versa. Anything, we are not judging on one angle, because every mistake that men make in marriage, women equally make. So when we are making this point, we are making it to fall on both sides. That's what I'm talking about. Physical abuse, psychological abuse, emotional abuse. Psychological abuse is a state whereby you make the woman what she sees. For instance, you bring women close to where she is. There are some men who can go to that extent of answering calls of their side chicks in the presence of their wife. That is a psychological abuse.
You bring a woman to a hotel where around your quarter.
That is it. Some even are bold enough to bring a woman in their matrimonial bed. Those are things that can cause someone to develop high blood pressure and other things. So we're talking abuse here, psychologically, emotional, physically, and sexually.
Abuse. Now, what could be responsible occasions this in a relationship?
Now, when we look about the abuses in a relationship, I think we must first of all understand the management process on how it got to that level before the abuse comes.
That's the cause.
Now, when we talk about a situation in a home whereby I will start mostly by the psychological aspect. Now, in a social and psychological aspect, a situation whereby a man is not apt in the home, that is to say, to support his family financially or socially, and the woman is the one in charge of the family. Now, when it comes to that point, the man is infuriated in everything he does because the woman takes over the place of the man. Now, when such a situation happens, the woman will tend to override the man in every decision in the house. Now, when such situation happens, you will discover that the man, in defending himself, will use external forces. He will use physical force. He will use insult, just to cover his inability, his inaptness to provide for the home. You know, when you are weak in an aspect, you always tend to use another thing to cover where you are weak. So when such things happen psychologically, abuse is inevitable. So when that is the first part I will stand on to. The second part is, there are people in a home. I want to stand on the management first, the causes of these abuses. Now, in a home, a man that has been used to providing for the family, then out of sudden, he loses, let's say he lost his job, he lost the income, and the woman begins now to come against him by going out and come in impossible hours. And when the man wants to talk, she will say, after all, what are you doing to me? Such causes are that which will bring the inevitable abuses. Now, when we talk about the management, how will it be managed? I wanted to say something right from the beginning. You know, we've been saying marriage stands on love. I would want to state here categorically that marriage has never stood on any love. Love has never been the platform upon which marriage is standing.
I think we need to do a complete series on that.
Yeah.
Yes, because we need to actually diagnose that, because I would die for you, mommy. Even though I love you so much.
We must first of all understand the causes. Now, I get married to somebody. I swear to the person I love you. I vow to the person I love you. But when a situation comes, you ask yourself, is this the person I ever said I love you? You ask yourself, is this the person who have sworn in all the gods that I will die for you? Now, when such things happen, you need to ask yourself now, how did I get here? Are you the person I knew? Or am I making a mistake? Now, when you discover that the person which you are calling your wife or your husband is not supposed to be the person that you knew, you need to discover that first. That cause will bring a problem. Abuse is inevitable. Because if I discover that I'm married to you, I tell you I love you, I will die for you, then a situation happens. I will ask you a question. The way you respond to my situation, I will ask you a question. Are you the person you swear to me that you love me?
You took a vow.
Yeah, you took a vow. So we have to discover the causes of these issues, then we can understand how to manage them.
We have to look at the causes, but that is a question also I ask you. But Parchibel, we are looking at abuse in a relationship. A relationship is between a man and a woman. In that relationship, a man has some responsibilities and the woman has their responsibilities. Is it not also the failure of understanding what our respective responsibilities are and going against what we are supposed to do? For example, a woman is expected to do this, and the woman wants to go beyond that which she has to do, and then the man also has to do this, understanding that the woman is supposed to complement this, but the man is going against what he ought to do as a man.
I want to look at it from our setting, that is the Cameroonian setting.
Okay.
Abuse and conflict in marriages is not something that started with us. We were raised, our parents, our grandparents raised us in such homes where both parents raised spoiled brats boys and raised timid girls, where we saw abuse was normal. Because I remember several times my mother telling me, I not go come out because say if I go, wait to go happen for una. So the mothers always have a reason to remain in abusive homes. So even when the father does not even provide, she goes the extra mile to make sure that the children eat, the children go to school,
To cover up for the man.
the children wear clothes to cover up for the man. And in most cases, the men are not appreciative enough. Before you know it, I always tell people, if a man calls me a prostitute, I say, that's my name. That's every woman's name in Cameroon. Any woman who is hardworking, who wants to do something, is seen as a prostitute. So if a man calls me a prostitute, I say, that's the same way your mother is called. So, because I don't know why men have this complex, and I don't know why they think that a woman must always get things from men to be able to sustain herself. But the irony is that they get these things. For instance, there are men, like you say, if a man loses his job, he's not able to feed his house. Who has to run the house is a woman. The woman may not necessarily have to go see another man to be able to feed her home. She would maybe work her farm. She may start selling something that will bring in some income. And before you know it, she is feeding that man. You're eating that food without knowing where the money comes from. And the next thing that comes to your mouth, because you feel threatened, you feel insecure, the next that comes to your mouth is a shower. You don't go and sleep different man, take money, and yet you're eating of it. So I just want to think that the way we're brought up has encouraged these abuses. Parents will not want to leave. They always have reasons why they must stay in their homes, and in most cases it is a woman who suffers more. I am not saying that men do not suffer abuse. They do. They're abusive women too. So, but that of the woman is more than that of the man.
You say spoiled brats were brought up men, and timid girls were also brought up.
Good.
Do you have that impression that timid girls are the persons that we are getting married to now?
I don't. Things have really changed. I really want us, if things have evolved.
Timid.
Yes.
Timid girls today.
Yes. This is what I will go. Let me come back to myself.
Yes,
I like
Tabi.
talking about myself. Let me come back to myself. When my marriage was very abusive. And each time I complained, my grandmother would say, I was kind of bad picking this. You know, if she don't cry, you know, if you tie heart, you know, they were not school. You know, to her, you've gone to school, that is why you can complain, that is why you see wrong, that is why you do this, that is why you do that. Your mother used to be very quiet. Your mother would not complain. This, that, because culturally, we are made to understand that when the man sneezes, a woman should catch cold. We have to be quiet. If the man comes and the man beats you, you're not supposed to shout. Your neighbor is not even supposed to know that they are beating you, in your house. Yes. You're not supposed to let the neighbor know that you're being beaten in your house. But nowadays, if you want to fight back, if you want to defend yourself, you must not get physical. But if you have your own way of retaliating, you become a problem. You become a problem.
Okay.
They say you need to follow tradition. Tradition say when man begin talk, woman need to talk.
21st century.
Some people still believe in that.
Yes.
yes, thank you. I really want us to, we have to look at the evolution of all of this, because like the pastor was saying, a lot has happened. And the truth is, the freedom that women enjoy now, yes, the truth is everything has moved. There was a time even of slavery. I'm talking about generally in the world. We are talking about an evolution. Generally, there's more rights. There's everything. And when we talk about abuse, I really want us to be very careful. Like they say, when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. I want us to say that at times, sometimes what people call abuse might not be abuse.
Okay.
And then there are times that people take something. That's what will be like, why are you taking all of that? But if you sit down and you play the analysis, now these people, take for example a culture where some of these women did not even know these men before they marry. For example, some of them met their culture where some of these ladies met these men in their houses. Some the parents, some parents arranged, some just met. Now you will discover that the entire concept at that time will permit most of this. The woman finds herself in an already arranged something, and you will discover that arrangement, like you even see sometimes some Muslims, they give a child 16 years, 18 years, they have already put a child, they have already targeted maybe the husband, everything. So you will discover that time, even our concept of relationships is not what it is today. Now, girls have freedom, girls have understanding. Now, we are talking about the 21st century, where a girl is supposed to have a certain freedom, because take note, they are seeking a certain freedom. Now, they have a certain freedom to make choices.
sometimes before we are not endorsing abuse because we still have to address a lot of things. But now we are starting from that course. Before we start talking about the abuse from somebody who made a choice, sometimes we need to start asking ourselves,
that before you.
Yes, let's start from there. Let's, because in the previous cultures of some of these our parents, some of them can have a defense that this thing I found myself in it. But today, somebody will not take their time. When they were supposed to be knowing somebody, they are just drinking. I'm not saying people don't change, but you see, let's take a little bit. If there is truly freedom, there is truly choice, there is a keenness of mind, you are now more educated, you are more open, you should also have more emotional intelligence. You have the responsibility to build emotional intelligence, because like we see here, the truth is we are also living in a time when men are highly abused, because physical abuse is the easiest one to see, because you just notice it. It's so easy to pick physical abuse. But the truth is, many men are dying. They are being destroyed by these very women who are expecting things from them, but their very own mouth has destroyed the man. I tell you the truth. Even the Bible says a woman's lips, a woman's mouth. So they don't understand it, because they expect men to you are a man, take it. You are a man, take it. Until it gets physical, you will never know a woman can abuse a man. But every time he comes home, I'm just giving an example. I'm trying to put a balance to this, because we must start to that place where we have come, we have now more knowledge. Let's start asking ourselves, what really is this abuse? Because the truth is, I don't see, it is so rare, even when this our parents, they are talking about be quiet and be quiet, be quiet. It's because these parents, they saw how quietness helped their marriages survive. In their circumstances. We are not saying those circumstances are best. Things have evolved. So let's ask ourselves, in this evolution of things, how then do we get ourselves into this, and how do we manage it? I was just trying to bring a little background so that we can bring us to this place, so that when we are talking about it, let's not just be talking about something in the past. Because even slavery, when you look at slavery in the light of an evolution, you would describe slavery was a forward movement from people killing there was a time, if you read in the Bible, that somebody goes to a nation, they wipe women, men and children. Then along the line, they got a human heart and say, we will not kill everybody, we will better make them slaves. So you will discover that even slavery was a forward movement when you look at it with a lens. So let's begin to ask ourselves, what really is abuse? Yeah,
what really is abuse? But I asked earlier on about the causes that a man consistently is abusing a woman, and the woman also abusing the man. Some people think that it is when one of the parties wants to show excessive control over the other. That is, you want to know where the man is going, you want to know where the woman is going, you want to know who is calling, you want to know almost everything about the man and the woman.
We're very, very frank and blunt on this platform. Most of the times, physical abuse from men is a response to emotional abuse from women.
Emotional abuse from the women
provokes physical abuse. It is a response.
Break it down.
Also, I will add to that part, emotional plus psychological abuse of women. No, respond. Yeah.
No, let him come. You watch us. Please.
No, we're getting.
Is that what you're saying?
I get it. There is abuse on both parts. That is, the man goes physical, but the woman is giving emotional torture.
Yes. Okay, yes. I repeat again, most physical abuse from men is a response from emotional abuse from women.
Okay.
Take it or you leave it. Men at times are not mad to get up and start beating a woman. No reasonable, responsible man will get up, except in rare cases. You know, to every exception, to every rule there's an exception. So we are talking here knowing that there are cases whereby some men abuse women physically for not just cause. But I will guarantee you 80% of men's abuse towards women is a response to an emotional abuse from the woman.
Can you explain what
I'm going to explain it in details. Men are the quiet type, women are flippant. Women are flippant in nature. They talk a lot. Sometimes a man can do something and a woman doesn't seem to understand. she may start speaking. And women don't speak for you to listen, they speak for you to respond. Once they speak and you don't respond, they will want to say something harder than what they have said. And immediately they start throwing those hard words into your heart. There is a level you cannot take it anymore. And there are men, when they have absorbed that shock for too long, they cannot contain it. The next thing is that it rebounds. They will give you a slap and a kick. Then everyone that comes will see the slap and the kick because it is physical, not knowing that the man has been able to contain the emotional torture, either for a very long time. Sometimes men can contain this torture for almost 10 years. Some hold it for 15 years. At a level they can no longer take it. Now they feel like this physical abuse, or to me, the right words to be used there is physical discipline. This physical discipline to the man or to the man is a kind of trying to solve something that his quietness cannot solve. That's one of the reasons you must understand. The second reason why men sometimes abuse women physically, it is simply because women can easily lose respect for men. I'm telling you, a man's desire is not food. Cook the best food, he can get it in a restaurant. A man's desire is not sex. He can get it in the street through a side chick. A man's desire is not your attire. The greatest thing you will ever take from a man that will cause the beast in him to come out is his respect. Inherent in every man is a king and a beast. If you choose to be a queen, you will bring out the king in him. If you be a torment, you will bring out the beast in him. In all cultures of the world, the last thing that a man cannot take, I'm talking from a generic point of view, is disrespect. Some women are grossly disrespectful. I can tell you with all sincerity that the marriages before this period are far more better. There were no marriage seminars, there were no conferences, there were no lectures on marriage, but the marriages succeeded better because people were properly brought up in good culture. This thing called women emancipation has not been defined in a proper context. Women emancipation is the ability and liberation for women to enter into governance, not to dominate in marriage. The women emancipation concept should be properly defined and then re-drilled again in the minds of women, because some women have taken this women emancipation into marriage. There are standards in marriage that no generation can ever take. The woman is to submit to a man and the man is to love the woman. That is the standard. But women emancipation has come to tell us that a woman has equal right and freedom. Since women are president, they can also be husband. Women can be president, women can be governors, women can be DO, but a woman can never be husband. Husband is not a position. Husband is not a rank. Husband is not an office. Husband is an ordained responsibility. And until every woman comes to this point to understand that your emancipation will never come to the place where you will become a husband, then every woman shall take her place in marriage. And that's why I say most at times physical response from men is a product of emotional abuse from women. The next thing we have to understand, Mr. Liu, is this: not everybody has the same capacity. Women compare a lot. A woman will want her husband to be like her neighbor's husband. I'm telling you. The minute you start quarreling, you say that, look at Papa Junior there. He goes out with a car. Here you are with one jalopy bike every day. Cut your cloth, cut your coat according to your cloth. Any man that God gives you, it is because that is the capacity of man you can manage. God cannot give you something better than you, because if you were better off, God will give you something better. So please let us understand this, that people will most of the time say, look at a useless man that beats his wife. I don't support wife beaters, but I can tell you Before a man will raise his hand, what were you doing there until he got to the extent of raising his hand on you? We grew with our mothers in the 80s that our father will we want to react. By the time they are talking, she gives way. A woman will talk to the extent of sending her finger into your nostrils because of women emancipation. I think we should go back and redefine this concept of women emancipation. A woman can be a president like Angela Merkel. She can be a governor. She can be an SDO. She can be a DO. She can never be a husband. Whether you are anybody than your husband, whether you are more educated than him, that position, husband, is a rank that God has positioned and nobody breaks it.
Okay. Yes, he says that every reaction of physical abuse from a man is
boss. You see, men accumulate a lot. When a man gets men accumulates a lot. In a situation where a man lives with a wife and the insult he receives from the wife, the insult, that is the disrespect, the one thing a man will not tolerate for any reason. One, insult. Two, minimize. The third thing, going against his parents. Now a woman will tell you,
think any woman would want you to
a woman will insult you to an extent of bringing your mother into the insult and wash your mother with cocoa soap. Things like this, some men will tolerate. But when it gets to a level, the man will say, enough is enough. The psychological torment that men go through, insult. Now, we are public figures. I'm a pastor. I talk to a lot of people. I talk to both youth, adult, married, unmarried. I talk to every group and every society. Now, if my wife, for instance, sees me talking to a lady, married or not married, and she attacks me verbally in the house, I'll keep it. I'll keep it and I'll explain to her. But when I discover that that's her continuous attitude, I'm a public figure, I'm a counselor, I'm a spiritual advisor. I watch over people's soul. I have to guide them spiritually and physically. But when the wife continuously attacks you, accusing you, no, I heard that they saw you in this restaurant, they saw you in this place with this same girl, with this same girl, with this same girl, you keep it after explanation. Now, when you come, you said enough is enough, I'm not explaining anything to you. Now the insult begins. You cheat, you are a sex maniac. You know.
Counseling take place. Why should counseling not take place in your office? Why should it take place in restaurants?
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
Why should counseling take place in restaurants?
You are here. When we leave this studio, we are going to work together, right?
Of course, we are from a program.
Yeah, we're
it's
going
not
to
counseling.
Now, if somebody says,
why would you counsel somebody, a woman in a restaurant? Why?
No,
you should have an office. You should have an office.
But my question to you, because you just joined Apostle Ambe to blame the women. Apostle Ambe says that men are responding to an emotional abuse from the women.
Yeah.
Don't you think that women abuse emotionally as a response to
the abuse from the men?
Okay, let's see. The abuse to women is more physical. Mm-hmm. That's why.
Is it not caused by something also?
No, women's abuse is as a response to that which the men have kept for a very long time. Mm-hmm. Men don't easily abuse women. Oh. Men don't easily abuse women. Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay. I'll give you an example. I was living when I was much younger than now. I was living with a lady. Now, whenever I go to the house, I'll be insulted. The day I decided, I never told her. I left the house with the shirt I was putting on and abandoned everything in the house and went and rent an apartment. I stayed in the apartment for a month. I bought everything in the house. Now, when she came back looking for me, I said it was done. Now, in that case, the insult I had, the abuse I had, if I had responded physically, would have been that I am abusing a woman. But nobody ever asked the question, why did you leave? Why you left your house with a simple shirt and never came back? So it was as a response of me not going to this extreme to use my hands upon her, to go physically.
Yeah,
so,
but your case may be just.
I like what Apostle said. The man should love the woman, and the woman should submit. How many men play the role of being the lovers? That's the truth. If a man, that's a prescription from the Bible, right? Yes. You people are the teachers of the Bible. Right. The Bible says, man, love your wife as Christ loves the church. Yes. Woman, submit to your husband. If men are loving like Christ, believe you me, there'll be no disobedient woman.
Just remember.
Now, roles have changed.
Just a minute.
Roles have Just remember
roles have.
Excuse me, wait.
Every man is a priest and the king. The submission will bring the king.
No, excuse. No. Men, do you love? Do you actually? He said. The two of you said.
No.
Love was no longer the basis of relationships. That's what you said of marriage. That's what you said. Love wasn't the basis of marriage. The base of marriage. What did you mean by that?
Okay.
So how do you get married? How do you? No, I am coming.
Okay. Yes.
When you make such statements,
go ahead.
No, they're abusing me. They don't know that. That is abuse.
Okay.
Now, when you make such statements, love is not the base of marriage. Why get married? Why get married when love is not the base of marriage?
Okay, can I answer you?
So wait.
She was not asking for answer.
Okay.
For respond.
That was what you people said. Now, if a man loves me as Christ loved the church, and then I don't submit to that man, it means there's something wrong with me.
Okay.
Roles have changed.
Okay.
Men have become, in fact, women now play the role of men in our earthly lives. Women now play the role of men in our earthly lives. The men feel that these men are conniving. They are conniving against me. Yeah.
No. Hey, you cannot.
Now, you the man, I know of women who sacrifice to make their men be the man they want. So many women, I know of them. They will do everything to make their man be the man they want. But this man, what do? They take it and rub it in mud. They take it and rub it. You say men are more tolerant. No. Women persevere. We are shock absorbers. We can see you cheating with our house helps. It will pain us. We will not go stay. We may complain to you. We may not complain to you. We are there. We see you with the neighbor. We see you in the snacks. Like you, man of God. You are taking your female Christian to the snack for counseling.
Okay.
Who does that?
Okay. You see.
Why would you take
you just drawn a conclusion. Now, I might be going somewhere and coincidentally we meet somewhere.
You said snack.
Yeah, we can meet anywhere. I cannot stand and be talking. I can sit in the snack and have a bottle of water. Now you said the women have sponsored men. Haven't we heard about cases in this very Cameroon that a tailor sponsored a girl up to the university level, and after she graduated she tells the man that I am no more your class?
It happened in Bambali.
It is happening. I'm not refusing.
So
we are not refusing. We are not. We are talking abuse in relationships. We are not refusing.
That's an extreme
I'm
abuse.
not saying that women are saints.
Extreme abuse.
No, I'm not saying we are saints.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying it.
Okay.
I'm not saying that we are not abusive.
Are you
we abuse.
But men cause you people to
abuse, to be abusive.
What do they do, for example?
For instance, I just quoted an example. You go
to snack.
No, not snack. Forget. We are side chicks. You are side dicks. So the sides turn around. It's normal. That should not even be an issue. Okay. But now come to your house. We have men who have lost respect in themselves. For a man to come to his house and stoop so low as to want to have sex with a maid in his house where there is a woman, what is that man telling? What value? What value is that man giving to himself? which right-thinking man would want to come home and have sex with the maid where the wife is in that same house?
It's emotional. The man cannot hold himself. Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
it's emotions.
Yeah.
Maybe the wife also is not corresponding.
The thing is, I said something. I said when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. I want to first respond to something she said.
Okay.
And she said, we said love is not the foundation of marriage. I would still want to repeat here, and I'm saying it emphatically, that love cannot keep two people in a relationship for a lifetime. I'm saying this because this is a misconception that makes boys and girls, I don't call them men, that makes boys and girls enter into relationship. You see, the truth is they are narcissistic men. People who, they are men, and it happens both men and women. But generally, since men, there's something called a man's ego. They are narcissistic men who believe that they are always right. It can lead to abuse and all of those kind of things. But I want to say this. One problem with relationship is the woman has been struggling for many years to do the one thing that they said the man should do. They said the man should love. The woman has always been struggling to love. You see, most of the times I ask a lady, why do you want to marry him? You see, his emotional, I want to say immaturity, quickly say, I love him. You see, the truth is, why women abuse a man is because they feel unappreciated. Would you agree with me on that? They feel unappreciated. In fact, that's the reason why I wrote a book, How to Deal with the Feeling of Being Unappreciated in a Relationship. It's a powerful book that people have been ordering of recent. Now, why did I write that? Because you see, this feeling is not just in marriage. This feeling you can have with your boss. This feeling you can have with your physical parents. This feeling you can have with friends, with your children. Because every relationship you can feel unappreciated. And one of the reasons I said people feel unappreciated in relationships is because when you think that marriage is about love, you will think your emotional investment in the relationship is what is enough. A man is not looking for emotional investment. You see, this is something, that's why even in Genesis I keep saying man was not looking for love. Man was not looking for love. So if all you have to, please Mr. Leo, break.
Go on.
Because if all you have to offer in a relationship is love, you will feel unappreciated, and then when you start reacting, bringing the verbal abuse and the psychological abuse, there might be a retaliation. There's a reason that they said wife submit, because that role of wife is a follower's position, because that's the reason why you expect a man to come after you. I always say this to women, it's funny how they'll talk about women emancipation, and the same lady will expect me to open the door for her. The same lady, if you tell her to break firewood, she'll say no, that's a man's job. The same lady, you see, they don't understand. They will expect that maybe when you go to a restaurant, you pay the bills. I said until the day women will start coming for men and pay their bride price, they should never think they are the leaders in the home, because the very fact I come to you and they expect me to pay a bride price, it means that a leader has come to pick somebody to follow through. Now this is why I now say that it cannot just be love, because if I am coming as a leader, I am coming with a vision which you are following. You understand? So I don't come because I have pants. I don't come because I have a penis. I am not a man because I don't have hips. I am a man because I know where I am going to, and I'm bringing you to follow. So the moment a woman is not in that position of submission, you have broken rank, because anything with two heads is a monster. There must be a head, and anytime the head is not fine, trust me, every part will suffer. Every part will suffer. So this is it. That submission is a recognition of placing yourself under authority. Yes, men can be like I said, some men are narcissistic. Any man also who has not built his emotional intelligence, like he said, if he was not emotionally intelligent, he will respond physically, and that woman will put up pictures on the internet, and we will call him an abusive man. But his emotional intelligence, it means he was mature enough to walk away. Take note, some people will not take that. And that's the same thing. A woman also needs to build her emotional intelligence, not to be able to respond just to anything. So my point is this: there is a reality on ground.
in a relationship. That's why you see every time I talk about it, because it's about relationship and marriage. It means that we are talking even before they get married and also in the marriage, so that you can help both of these people. I believe that if the woman submits, not just trying to pour emotional, not say I am loving, if you respond, if you actually compliment a man, you will not be able to, because the point is that you are only offering but love. If you truly compliment a man, you will get the appreciation you seek. You cannot command appreciation. There's a way you fit in that just get the appreciation.
Good evening to you, Bo, Lexus, Doris, Rema, Jerry Acha, Anita Eno. Good evening to you, Nkai Abade and Mr. Liu. How comes you know all this stuff? Okay. I don't know. I'm also married. Elvis. Good evening to you, Babila Stefan, and to you, Atan Kongo Obenatam, Efrente. Good evening to you, Tang Fidelis, and to you, Etoe Gabriel Elung, Fosak El Gabriel. Good evening to you, Don Sherif, Fine Takunju. Good evening to you, Franklin, as we see, and to you, Rice Wood Fin. Takunju Ish Kobe, good evening to you. Godi New Kongi, always watching us, and to you, Roland Fongu, Kemene Fabian, Bakala Foncha, Aita Awa, good evening to all of you. Somebody is asking how they can get your book.
I think by the end of the program, we will make sure that.
Okay, we are talking about abuse. Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa. Is this not also caused when a partner finds a problem, seemingly finds a problem with almost all the friends of the other partner, the families? Almost every member of your family is problematic. That is according to either the wife or the husband. Your circle of friends is a problem. It's only me or no one else.
Yes, it occurs. To me, such things are born out of complex.
Okay.
Inferiority complex. A woman that cannot allow a man interact freely, and a man that cannot allow a woman interact equally freely, is suffering from complex. Because if you know your worth, and you know your, like, me sitting here, I cannot be intimidated. No, it's not possible. So I think that is where we have a serious challenge. Number two, one of the things that causes a lot of abuse in marriage, accusations, false accusation. I think we are unable to differentiate between facts and truth in any relationship.
Okay.
And if people are unable to differentiate between facts and truth, it's a serious problem. Let me give a simple scenario. For instance, I kill Parchibel and I get out of this place, and then Apostle Lefor enters here, and then he's trying to hold Parchibel, drawing her last breath. The truth is that, the fact is that it is Lefor that killed her, because they caught Lefor in her hand. But the truth is that I was the killer that disappeared. Now, women and men are unable to differentiate between facts and truth in marriage. They are unable to differentiate between reality and illusion in a relationship. And if these two things are not differentiated, I have seen girls slap women walking with their men, not knowing that is their cousin.
Their relatives, yeah.
That's the problem.
Versa.
And that complexity, that inferiority complex that makes you feel like any man around your woman wants to take the woman, and any woman around your mom wants to take the man, it's a serious problem.
Yes.
Yeah, but that conflict also with family members is also a problem.
With family members,
of course,
yes.
in-laws.
That is, you see anybody from the family of either the man or the as a problem.
It's a serious problem. That's what I'm talking about. Complex.
The man's family is always
Yes.
like, this woman, the chop will begin the money.
Now,
even if the woman is working and making her own income, it is
And
that
the
you
woman's
are
family,
eating, and then the woman's family, the man, the fool, begin chopping money. So at the end,
that is a problem. And these things occur because the man has not defined his stand in his family, and the woman has not defined her stand in her family.
Like we said the other
These
time.
errors must be corrected by both parties from the angle they are coming from.
Yeah.
Before my mother will visit my house, she has to know my position with my wife, so she does not break ranks. And before your own mother will come to my house, she has to know your position with your husband.
Yes.
To the extent that your mother has to know that you can send her away because of your wife. And your wife has to know that she has to send her mother away because of you.
And
They
understand.
have built their families, and their families are already grown. They should not come and destroy who you are struggling to be.
yes.
The next thing we have to understand is this. I think the divine responsibility of most women and men in marriages have not been identified by most couples. When you start playing a role that you are not empowered to do, you will cause confusion.
That's the word.
Yes. Immediately you enter into an office, so you are not capable or you are not empowered to do, you will cause confusion. And the worst of it is that when you try to play a role out of where you are gifted at, you become problem to everybody. For instance, if you go to a relationship, the role of the man is to
the
love.
question I asked earlier on. That is the man understanding what their responsibilities are, and same for the woman.
What is the role of a man?
To love a woman.
The man's responsibility is to love. What is this love? Is it a feeling? It's not.
It's not a feeling.
It's not a feeling.
Okay.
Most people think it is.
The role of love is responsibility.
Yes.
And
Carry
sacrifice.
out your
Yes,
responsibilities
and
and
sacrifice.
sacrifice
Yes.
for your family. The woman's responsibility also is to submit. And you discover there are most women that want a woman will be trailing a man everywhere they say is love. It's not, they
cannot be
didn't
loving.
ask you to love.
You are loving what?
They didn't ask you to love.
To submit.
A woman calls you in the afternoon, have you eaten? They say it's because of love.
That's not.
She sees another man close to you, she shouts because of who asked you to love? They didn't ask you to love. You are trying to play a role you are not empowered to do.
They're coming to ask
I beg you,
if
Parchibel, can you
you've
allow me
eaten.
land? Please
Coming
leave
to
me.
ask you if you've eaten. It's not a problem.
It's
It's not a
It's-
problem.
It's
It's part of our submission. No, it's part of our
She's
submission.
saying, let me tell you the love, the kind of love that we tell women that play in this society today. There is love. A woman sees you stand at the normal and come and give the girl palm. They say, hey, now leave her more, now love. Now love, they make it do and so. Nobody asks you
Love
to
is not
love.
violence.
They ask you to submit. And if you understand the role of submission, submission means going under. The word substitution, the word sub means under. It means go under. Madam, go under. That is your responsibility. When you want to love, Jesus Christ, for you cannot even give the sacrifice that a man gives in a relationship.
The truth is that, see, Apostle Ambe, the truth is what many people fail to understand is a man interprets but submission as love.
That is what I'm talking about.
A
now.
man knows your love not by how many times you call
Call
her,
in a day.
not by
Calls
it is
and all of
by
that is trolling.
No, we
We're
are
not encouraging trolling.
Yes,
here.
but the truth is it's that submission that is interpreted to a man as love.
Now, let me learn.
Give
Yes,
an
no.
example of submission.
Let me give an example of submission. Submission is not doing what you like, it's doing what you have to do. There's a difference between doing what you like and doing what you have to do. The word have is a word to have, and the word like is a word to be. There is the responsibility of what you have to do and what you like to do. And once you are a do what they have to do, not what they like to do. But most women want to do what they like to do. For instance, a man comes back by 10:30. Where are you coming from? You are not doing what you have to do. You are doing what you like to do. How do you respect a man that comes back? Sweetheart, darling, you are back. I'm happy to see you. Take his coat off, take his bag. Not standing in the position of a police detective. Where are you coming from? Where were you? Why did you stay? That is, you are doing what you like to do, not doing what you have to do. And if women don't define these two responsibilities, I'm sure they will want to play a role in a marriage that they are not competent or qualified to handle. The next thing that causes serious abuse in home is suspicion. When you suspect a man of something that he is not guilty, or you suspect a woman of something that she is not guilty, you are igniting flame. I preached in a marriage conference. I said 4 poisons against marriage. Number 1 on my list is suspicion. When everything a man does, you have a way of interpreting it to implicate the man in a crime. The man does not even have the appearance of a gentleman, and when he is coming home, he is coming back to meet a police detective, not a wife.
He's afraid.
He gets afraid. And this is what is killing most homes. People want, after a tiring day, frustrated time in interacting with people, when they come back home, they need to see a level of welcome.
Okay. Now they say when what people abuse when they fail to actually understand or attach the real values to the other partner? Are we not abusing because the man does not really know the value of the woman that he's married to, and vice versa? Is it not also that the lack of that that knowledge? That is, we are not giving each other the true value, because if we value ourselves, we cannot abuse.
Okay,
Thank you.
what we have to understand is
Thank you very
everybody must know his position and his responsibilities.
Yeah, knowing the position is true, but knowing the value of
The
each
value.
other.
Okay, let's go to the Bible. I want to go to the Bible just a little bit. Now, when Adam was created, he was given a responsibility to head the garden. The wife was given as an assistant to assist him in the management of the garden. Now, when Adam got up, he saw his wife, he started singing poems. He became a poet. Now, the question, before she was tempted, was she with Adam? Why was she not where she was placed to assist? Adam was given some responsibilities and some commandments. Not to do this, not to do this. But when the woman, because she was not in that position to assist her husband, she wanted to be also the head, she was somewhere else. If Eve was where Adam was, she wouldn't have been tempted. It would have been easy. Now, because she wanted to be another head, she went another place, and she was easily tempted. And when she got the temptation, she brought the temptation now to Adam, and both of them fell. But one thing I want to learn in somewhere. Now, when we talk about management of abuse, that was an abuse that Adam could not take. Adam managed that abuse, because when Adam was sent out of the garden, he did not say, "You caused me to fall. Let's go together." Now, well, your question, how do we manage these things? If I know you, if I know my wife, there are certain factors, external factors, that may influence her attitude. I get married to my wife. I know she wasn't like that. Maybe her surrounding, her friends have influenced her behaviors, have influenced her attitude. Now, when I see, I'll discover that, I will tell her, no, when I got married to you, it wasn't like that. I don't want to qualify you for what you are manifesting now. I want to qualify you for what I knew you for before. You get it? So, in that, I want to go now into how to manage the abuse. Because if she, for instance, the wife will tell you, my friend told me her wedding gown was 1 million. That's an external influence. My friend told me when she was getting married, she rented a limousine. She knows your capacity. Now she's bringing her friends into your marriage. But if you bring her back to yourself,
She fails to understand your real value.
yeah,
We are looking at the values here.
yeah. Now that is your real value. She knows your real value when she got married to you. But now, by her external influences, she's bringing other people's home into your house. My friend told me her wedding gown came from France. She knew my value. I know her value. I know where I got her. I know where she met me. Now, what do I situate? Do I situate what she's telling me, or is she going to situate what she's telling me, or what she knows me of doing? So these are the things that causes a lot of abuse in the family. Because if you tell me your friend's wedding gown is 1 million, I don't have 1 million.
Apostle, you know,
I don't have 1 million. What do I do?
It's
And she's
only
insisting.
women that do not know the value of their men. Do you, as a man, know the value of your woman? This thing is a two-way thing.
Yeah.
If you know my value, like Leonard rightly said, the couples should be able to know the value of one another. If you know the value of one another, you're going to respect these values, and you're going to live your relationship happily. But you talking to you, a woman is as good as nothing.
No.
That's what you're saying. Your examples have always been the woman is doing this, the woman is doing that. The woman goes up, the woman comes down. Do you give your wife the value, your partner the value she deserves? If you look at her worth and you give her that value, then I don't see where you people have problems.
Is it not also talking about value? Is it not also because we fail to upgrade our wives or husbands to meet the standards that we deserve?
Nowadays,
yes.
Nowadays, unlike in those days where our mothers and grandmothers stayed at home doing nothing, nowadays women every woman tries to do something. If you're not having a white collar job, you're creating a business, you're doing something that brings in income because you want to live a certain standard. You want to be able to assist in the education of your children. Probably you support either by buying the books or sewing their uniforms. You have to do something. That is what women are doing now. So is that not value they are bringing into their relationship?
Yeah, they're bringing it, but are they
is that not value?
Are they not using that?
Are the men? No, they are not in any way using it. Now this is it. I still go back to what we had earlier said. They started with it. I still want to go back to what they said. Like Apostle Ambe rightly said, most of us make the error of wanting to be the lover in our relationships. The men have to love us. Me, the man should follow me, love me.
Okay,
yes.
Why are you doing what
yes, the man should love me.
Okay.
If the man loves me, I can even lie on the ground and he walks on me. If that's the kind of submission he wants. Yes, I will submit to any level that you want me. No, he should love me now. If you cannot love me, why should I submit? Love me, I submit.
Okay.
You don't love me, I don't submit.
Yes. Now, is the issue not also anyway he raised that also the issue of trust, confidence for each other? You would want to suspect any move that a partner takes, and once you cannot trust them, anytime they come back. On both sides here, you find a man who literally abuses, shouts at the wife anytime she goes out to work or she's seen with a male colleague and the like. The men are very abusive. And then you also have the women who immediately define the husband with a female.
Just coming back late. Accountability.
Mr. Leo, the thing is
not also because of the lack of trust.
Yes. The truth is, you see this trust, at times I always wonder, I always like to go to the core. I always wonder why you it's like you get married to a policeman, for example, and in your mind policemen are like this. Then all of a sudden every move you
expect him to be the exceptional policeman.
Yes. So and the truth is, you are even coming like that, but you are not still sure, because the suspicion is proof that you are not even certain he's different. Because every time you're like, you don't surely go the drink like how they are afraid. Are you get what I'm trying to say? I think we must come to that place where you are like, who are you getting married to? As a man, I ask myself, who is this lady evolving to? Where is she going to? Imagine I have a lady who has a presidential ambition, for example. You want to suspect her with every man she has dinner with? Where would you end? At the end of the day, you end up crippling her dream. I think this thing comes about because people who don't know each other, or who don't know where they are going to come together. And it brings me to something I wanted to say about the other point. You talk about value. You see, this thing we're talking about, value and love, like I said, is a very subjective word. You see, this value we're talking about, when we're saying it, most people there are thinking the value we are talking about is that let me just value you that you are my wife. Like, let me value you. The truth is, a man, they call a woman helpmeet. Your value will come from the help you provide to him for his destiny. Let's understand what you call value.
But that's value.
Yes.
How do you value somebody?
That's what we're saying. So the value, that's why when I talk about, even when I said, some reason why some people feel unappreciated is because, for example, let me give you an example, Mr. Leo. If in my destiny I need somebody who, please don't get it wrong, I'm not talking about domestic work. I just want to give an illustration. I need somebody who would sweep the house. I'm not saying that that's what destiny is about, please. Now, I'm just saying that I need help in the sweeping. Now, if you are the person who gets up and do anything else, in fact, do everything else, if in that man's destiny, his help, that the helpmeet he was looking for was to fill a spot, maybe he doesn't have the ability to sweep. If you like, you carry water. You like, you do. I don't know if you're getting. Now, you will not be valued the way you think you should be.
Because that is why every woman should know who she is and see whether they fit into the kind of person the man wants. So that is the whole reason why we date, we do the courtship and everything, because value cannot be beyond your contribution to the relationship. You can never be valued beyond contribution. I'm not talking about money. We are talking about the contribution to that vision. That's what we talk about, the purpose and everything. So if this trust and this suspicion comes about, I think that one of the major causes is because most of the times we have, like Apostle said, there can be complexes can be one from both sides. There can be lack of understanding of where each person was going to. Now the person is evolving and you're having problems, because the truth is relationship evolves. They are moving somewhere, you are going somewhere. The person can be evolving and you are walked up. I always say a relationship, the reason why we date and court is because you can even be going the same direction, but you are not going, someone is not willing to go that far. From Boya, I had to pass through Douala to go to Yaoundé. Now, if I enter the same car with somebody who is going to Yaoundé, somebody who is ending in Douala, if let me say we got married along the line, and the other person is ending in Douala, when we reach Douala, there will be a problem. Because either I will have to stay in Douala, or the person will have to follow me to Yaoundé.
Exactly.
So when we get there to that point, something can happen. Now that's why you need to know exactly where the other person is going, because that person needs to move beyond Douala, and you can say that person has changed. No, but it was where the person was going to. So these things comes from a deep understanding. I think there is a complexes. I think there needs to be a depth of understanding of each person and the evolution of how the relationship is going.
Okay, I want us. Somebody just sent us something from Apostle Selman Joshua from Nigeria as a contribution, and I thought that we should all listen to it and I will react to it. Ella, if that is ready, can we watch it?
So when a husband and his wife continue to fight, that marriage is not allowing the influence of God to find expression. And usually what they are going to check is whether they were the will of God or not. Whether they were the will of God or not, the marriage will still not work until that level of reception through transformation. And the key is to go back to the word of God and find out what God said. He says, husbands, if you are not a husband, pass that verse, but he says, husbands, love your wives not the way you want. He knows the way you want is it vacillates. So he first separates you from your feeling and says, as Christ loved the church. If you understood that scripture, you should start crying, because no man can love a woman like that. It is not given to a man to love his wife as Christ loves the church. There are many things that statement alone will cancel out of your marriage. Number one, that true love can never be a reward. You cannot reward someone with love. The saints were not rewarded with salvation. You see how difficult it is? So the kind of hair she makes or doesn't make has nothing to do with it. Where do you then keep your emotions? You see how hard it is? That verse is supposed to make you go back and say, God, how do I do it? The fact that you did not ask him is proof you did not understand the scripture. As Christ loved the church, go and read the harlotry and the rebellion of the church. I have loved thee with an everlasting love, and I have drawn you with my loving kindness. I'm not ashamed to be vulnerable. I am God, but let heaven say whatever, I will still come for you. And it says, love her that way. So before you love her that way, you have to get the mind of the person whose model was given to you. So the Bible says, let this mind be in you. As a marriage requirement, to not just let it be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, that although he was God, he thought it not robbery, and he came and not only died a controversial death. So marriage for you becomes a project between you and your wife to outdo loving one another. never expecting reception. Now this is dangerous. This is not a marriage seminar. I don't want to get into trouble, but let me tell you sincerely, if it is heaven you are looking for, it is at the mercy of the will of God. The will of God is non-negotiable. It is received through transformation. Transformation is your way of repentance. That means you compare your life with God's standards and you repent. It's not for sinners. It is how the saints are perfected, through repentance. Are we together? Yes. Light. Pastor, you know, truly my greatest prayer for the church is that we stop the empty boast that comes from unarranged truths. There are vast truths that are scattered and randomly arranged. So when we have a challenge, we don't know what spiritual law is responsible for the outcome we desire. We try the blood of Jesus, we try the fire of the Holy Ghost, we try communion, we try oil, we try touching and agreeing. We just manipulate principles at random, and it is dangerous to receive results under that condition, because you will be afraid of your result, knowing that you were not sure which one brought it. One day life will not give you enough time to try. You will need the word to work with quintessence, with accuracy, with precision. And Jesus himself knew what to do. He knew what to engage. When they met him with 5 loaves and 2 fish, he said, no problem. In the economy of heaven, there is provision for this possibility.
Apostle Ambe, I wanted us to end this segment of our discussions that how do we mend abuses? How do we stop it? Is it the word of God that has to give us direction?
Well, I'm talking the capacity not as an apostle.
Okay.
I'm speaking as a marriage counselor.
Okay.
Because not everybody has gotten the opportunity to listen to that message, and not everybody goes to church.
Okay.
How do you tell a Buddhist? How do you counsel a Hindu? How do you
Muslim.
counsel a Muslim? So an atheist. So we are Christians and we understand perfectly what he has said. But the truth is, I think we are misconstruing this word love.
Okay.
Love does not exempt discipline. Love does not exempt, because we are trying to paint this love as if somebody is scratched on your leg, just lick it. If somebody cuts your ear, just stay you. No. Christ loved the church. Ananias and Sapphira died in church. The Bible says in the book of Hebrews chapter 5, it says, whom the Father loveth, he chastiseth. The word chastise means he disciplines. And out of love, a father that loves a child, Bible says, he should not spare the rod from the child. So this love we are trying to paint it as if it's just some easy go, merry round, sweet aroma, clean, direct, untouchable, unoffendable, indisciplined process. No. If you check God's love in scriptures, God has loved people and sent them to go and stay in the forest for 7 years like Nebuchadnezzar. Out of love, God sent Nebuchadnezzar to go and stay in the forest for 7 years because of pride. That's discipline. It is a love of God that these guys called Peter was locked in prison. It was God's love that pushed them to prison. So we are trying to make love as if love, a woman enters here, doesn't clean the house because of love, don't talk anything to her. She doesn't cook food on time because of love, don't talk anything to her.
Pamper her.
She abuses you because of love, don't do anything to her. Please, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, love does not exempt discipline. Number 2, if we are comparing and contrasting marriage to Christ and the church, there is a level you come into a home as a wife. There's another dimension you enter as a follower. Out of love, God saved the world. But when we came, he said, follow me. Follow me. There is a dimension a woman comes into a marriage as a wife. And when you are a wife, you will want to drag or square shoulders with your husband. But if you come to the extent of a follower, there is a difference between a wife and a follower. That is the reason why it is easier for people who see you as a follower to absorb and accommodate your errors. But a person that sees you as a husband, it will be difficult for them to accommodate your errors. That's why in most churches today, the sisters in the church who are followers seem to have more attraction in the eye of the pastor than the wife in the house. Because the wife cannot stand some things that Christians may see and stand. Now, one of the last challenges is that nobody is 100% perfect.
Okay.
And once you are married to a person, if you are denying the man because of his weaknesses, you are equally rejecting his strength. And sometimes that strength can be 80% and the weakness is 20%. But some people will choose to throw the 80% away because of a deficiency of 20%. Likewise, the woman.
Okay.
So women should graduate from being wives to become followers. And they should not interpret love for everything going smooth, because love entails discipline.
Okay, some persons are going to be asking questions, I'm sure, or we just take note of those questions and we, if it's possible, respond to them. Good evening, Mr. Leo. What about women who play the roles men should, because the men cannot fulfill the roles? For instance, women who provide for their home when things are not going well for the man. What will happen if the woman remains in her role and expects the man to provide? Mr. Leo, does Apostle Ambe mean that a man should chastise his wife in order to correct her? I'm not sure that's what he means. Good evening, Mr. Leo. All the panelists also. Mr. Leo, your topics are always very enriching. Apostle Ambe, you've spoken well. Talk to us women who, even if you deal our mouths, we'll talk with our anus. More grace. Daisy is writing from Kumba. I'm sure Daisy meant if you seal our mouths. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm impressed with your program today. I wish you people also discuss on this other big point. Some women come into marriage and become incubators. They do not respect the schedule of childbearing as planned by the man. Mr. Liu, this is also one of the many issues that pushes some men to react funny ways, like start avoiding the wife in bed, pretends to be drunk at night, bringing funny excuses about food just to have a reason to escape the wife's trap. Samuel, watching from Munya, says, read my message. I've read your message. Brother Godwill from K-Town, more grace to you, brother. I love you people and the program. Keep on, sir. Please, sir, send me this message. Let me over and over again, sir. Tai, okay, I don't know what you mean by that. Good evening, Solange from Bamenda. I feel like the program today is biased. The woman is being shut up as the society has put it to be. We needed two women. The pastor is telling the man to treat the woman anyhow. Nonetheless, whether we accept it or not, 80% of violence is from men, because from creation they are defensive and very insecure. Even when God asked about the apple, he quickly pushed the blame to a woman. Didn't he have a mind of his own? Violence is on both sides, but women suffer most because African and the world at large teaches women to be ladies, but never take time to teach a man to be a gentleman. If we don't do this, particular gender will only be predators. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to you all in the studio. Bukwake Jean-Claude from Douala. I really want to appreciate Apostle Ambe for the way he always presents his facts in every debate on the panel. Honestly, I feel very proud to be an Anglophone each time he is talking. Now, my point is, women nowadays compare a lot, up to the extent that they will only be submissive according to the amount of money you are willing to offer, simply because of unnecessary comparison. Atamaya Jean-Claude says, greetings to all of you in the studio. I'm Atamaya Jean-Claude. The program is interesting and I love the contributions coming from all the speakers. My opinion to the topic is Ephesians 5:21-25 to 25. Thanks and stay blessed. More of such programs on my media prime. Thank you very much, Jean-Claude. Good evening, Ramatu from Douala. I want to appreciate and give a hand of applause to Apostle Ambe and Apostle Divine for the clarifications of women's submission to a man. Mr. Leo, please tell our sister that let the woman show the love and the man will always love them. Mr. Patricius is writing from Malabo. The same men should love her. I disagree with Apostle. Love is a foundation of any marriage, please. If you love your wife and she is not submitting, then you are the cause. From Oben. If you started a relationship up to getting married with a woman and at the beginning she was submissive and later start changing, then ask yourself a question. If you love your wife or husband, any abuse becomes an ingredient in the marriage, okay? This greetings to the entire crew, please. It's quite shocking a pastor will claim love is not the basis for which marriage abound. I think love is on the major pillars in every marriage, including trust, loyalty, faithfulness, and mutual respect for each other. This is Sembu Jerry writing from Yaoundé. Yes, you may not understand the love, the perspective that they are coming from. Nyandong Gembe from Limbe says, good evening to you all. Please, I wish to know who is supposed to love more in a relationship or marriage for it to work. I need your help because many have argued me that it is very dangerous for a man to marry a woman that he loves than the woman loves him. Okay, this one says, oops. Good evening to you all at the studio. I'm very happy to participate in this discussion. Women should understand that men need respect, not love. I believe even the Bible says that women should honor your husband and men love your wife. It is from this where every good home degenerates. Sarah respected Abraham, and today most women go to church but do not respect this principle. Thank you very much. Good evening to you all. Please, I wish to understand how you can deal with your parents when you are working, being independent, and when you get married. Equally, I want to find out if it's possible to see your husband without dating. Eyere Larissa, seeing your husband without dating, I don't understand. I like your program of today. I learned 1 or 2 lessons on your program. God bless you all. Emma Sparklin, writing from Moliko. Good evening to you all in the house. Marriage is all about the two partners, not individual. That is a man or woman. Each partner should respect the other. Good evening. Now, I don't know whether you have some clarifications.
Okay. I want to clarify something about love and a relationship.
Okay.
Now, I said love is not the basis of relationship because in every individual has dual personalities. I know you today as apostle. I deal with you as apostle. In the days to come, his other side may come up. Now, the Bible says in the book of Genesis that Jacob was lying down in bed, stricken with age. But when he heard his son Joseph was still alive, Israel rose up. The person who was lying down was Jacob. The person who rose up was Israel. What is the meaning of that? When you are dealing with a human being, every human being has got dual personalities. And that's where the abuses start from. I take somebody, I tell you, I love you, I love you, I love you, without actually knowing your other side. Now, what can keep a marriage? A marriage is the ability to investigate the other side of the person, accept it, and deal with it. What do I mean by that? I meet Ashibel, she's the only woman. Okay, I'll meet you today. Eh? Now, she's smiling. Look at her expression, so beautiful. I take her for the beauty of her face, of her expression. I love you, I love you, I love you, without actually knowing the other side of her. Now, if I want to really engage with her, that's me, my advice to the world. If I want to engage with her, I will tell you physically I love you, but I will investigate the other side of you. Because I know the other side, whether you like it or not, will manifest one day. I don't want to get married to the person I'm seeing now. I want to get married to the person that I have not seen. If I investigate that part and I discover it, and if tomorrow it happens that the other part is being manifested, I'll tell you, I was waiting for you. I knew already. But if I did not expect the other part to come up, that's why even in the society we are living today, presidents, psychologists, doctors, they've told their wives, lawyers, they've told their wives, I love you. But when the other side begins to be manifested, they begin to ask themselves a question. Is this the person I got married to? So when I say the love is not the basis, for me, the ability to, for me, what is the standard is the ability to investigate the other side of a person,
and not just for what you fall for.
Accept it, and decide to manage it. So when the other part comes up, I'll be ready for it. But if I was not prepared for the other part, which is inevitable, the other part will come up, whether I like it or not, it will come up. When the other part comes up, abuses will come up.
You may not recognize the person.
You may not recognize. Beatings will come up, divorce will come. If you love somebody, there's no word in any dictionary cause as divorce.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Leo. My humble contribution: where there is abuse, there is bound to be conflict. Which are inevitable in a relationship. But matter is who is bring into our relationship when there is conflict. The person we bring in as third party or judge will either make or mar the relationship. My first time watching. I appreciate you all, servants of God. May God continue to increase you both. Thanks immensely, Mr. Liu, the anchor man. You are doing a great job. I will be watching the program to learn more. I'm Lady T, writing from Bonaberry. Liu, we shall talk more. Thank you. We are going to be waiting. If we continue discussing this, we will not end it. Let's talk about the second topic.
Yes, but please, 1 minute, Mr. Liu. Mr. Liu, 1 minute.
Yes.
1 minute, please. I would like to say this, just two things. One, some people are still walk up with that statement when I say love is not the basis of a relationship. Let me say this. It is written in Romans chapter 8. It changed everything of my perspective. Every time I always preach this, and I always tell when I counsel relationship. It says everything works together for good to those who love God, but many people always end up passage there. That's not where it ends. And those who are called according to purpose. You see, your calling. And your calling is the unique way God will relate with you. You see, even this love that God has for everyone, which does not vary, he expresses it in different ways towards us based on purpose. That's why the way I will express love for my daughter, I've said this before, is a different way I will express love to my wife. It's a different way I will express love to you. The same love expressed differently based on purpose. So love cannot be the foundation of that relationship. It is those who are called according to purpose. Secondly, I want to say this: if true love, or when you love and you think that, like you say a lot of times, you hear the argument, the woman will say, if he love me, I go submit. Then you hear the man will argue, if he submit, I will love. You see, the truth is from both ends, the command was not dependent.
The love is attached to something.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. In the command, in Ephesians 5, it was not attached. It means they did not say, love your wife if she submits. They did not tell the woman, submit to your husband if she loves. So that is why I keep emphasizing most of these things I know comes because people who enter these marriages don't know these things. If they understand it from the beginning before they are entering, so I am not loving you because you submit.
They just follow feeling, and then want to impose that you
and
must.
especially with this emancipation now, here the people say no, make sure say no. You say true love. That's why I always tell people, I say if you love, women cannot even take rejection. Mr. Louis, you see this thing now, you chat a girl and they deny. If a girl reaches out to you and you deny, the girl can be depressed all her life. They cannot even take rejection like we do. That's the truth. You see, the truth is that we have the ability. True love, even if somebody rejects you, true love, the love of God, even if they reject you, you cannot be vengeful.
Mr. Kum, let me just say something. Mr. Kum, Mr. Kum, let me just say something here. Now let's talk about love. Let's talk about love of God. If you read First Corinthians chapter 13.
You see why I said we should do a full program on this.
Yes.
If we read Mr. Kum, if we read First Corinthians chapter 13, we see how God we see how God expresses love. Love does not suspect. Love does not judge. Love does not keep. Love does not do this. Love does not do anything. Tell me, in this 21st century, who is that human being?
Who will not suspect?
Just tell me.
At the end of the day, if we want to keep our relationship, if we want our relationships to grow and be what we want them to be, we have to be tolerant. if we tolerate our differences, if we understand ourselves,
Forbearance is the word.
we accommodate, we learn to accommodate our excesses or differences.
That's what I'm saying.
And we tolerate, we shall have that beautiful relationship
Exactly. That's what I'm
we
saying.
all want to. So accusing, humiliating, fighting
Putting pressure.
will never be the solution.
But is it not also...
Pay IFBIs, they will come with the stories. They are not providing you any solution.
Okay.
Put satellite everywhere, they are not providing you solutions. So we have to work for that relationship to be what we want it to be. And how do we do it? We should be tolerant, we should be accommodating, and above all, we should learn to forgive.
Okay. We should learn to forgive. We are left with 25 minutes. I want us to look at the second topic for tonight. We promised to go through overcoming silent killers in marriage relationship, part 2. I'll start with you. I don't know whether I should start with the lady. Silent killers, part 2. Many persons see relationships not working. Parents may not understand, but under the roof, some people think that the refusal of sex for both parties could be a killer, number one, that may actually cause a divorce or a relationship to be dissolved. Meanwhile, people will not know. You do it not knowing that you are sending the man or the woman out of the home.
There are two things that actually are a major problem in relationship: money and sex.
Okay.
If you're not transparent with your financial dealings or transactions, there's bound to be problems in your home. If you're not collaborating, you don't discuss your sexual life, there is bound to be a problem. So those are the two major factors that bring problems between couples. Now, as Christians, as a Roman Catholic Christian that I am, now this is the Lent season and it's fasting. It is wrong for me as a married woman to use sex as my fasting point without the approval of my spouse. I need to discuss with him. We need to agree that, to me, I want to fast. We will not have sex.
And you pray for God to give him the grace to sustain.
So if he refuses, then I don't have to punish him. I don't have to deprive him of that. We need to have sex. And if I want to have sex, he should be ready to give me sex, to have sex with me. So by the time he doesn't,
should be ready to understand,
and have sex with me. Now this is what happens. Most times the men believe that when they want sex, it must be, the woman must always be ready at any hour, any day, any time to satisfy them sexually. The man does not care to know if the woman is ready or not. There is marital rape, like Apostle said. I call it marital rape because you're married, we're married legally, we're staying in the same house, does not give you the right to have sex with me how you want, when you want, without my consent. So most women go through this rape. The men just come at any hour, they don't care, they don't even bother to know if the woman wants sex or not, if she's in the mood or not, but they want to have sex. And some of them even beat up these women. They beat these women up and then rape them and say, "Now my rights. After all, I don't pay."
Whose right is it?
Right? That's rape. That's rape. So we should. These are issues that we should not joke with.
Some women also use it to blackmail the man. I've asked, I want 50,000. If you don't give it, don't touch me.
Yes, some men too are funny.
So you need to use it.
Some men are funny. I am not encouraging women to use sex to get what they want from the men. But there are some men that if it is not through that means,
Really?
50.
Really?
I mean 5 francs
Really?
you will not have. You will not. Yes. So there are some men that if you want them to sign you a check or give you a blank check signed, it is only through sex. It is only through sex. That is their weak point.
Making merchandise of a free gift of nature.
Apostle Ambe, we are talking about silent killers. Some people think that unfaithfulness is a core issue also, but if you are cheating, you are unfaithful, thinking that nobody sees you, either the wife spends time sleeping with somebody in an office, or the husband spends time sleeping with people around the quarters, and thinking that nobody is saying them, but supernaturally the families are drifting apart.
Yes, Mr. Leo, marriage is a union of two forgivers. As much as you are not getting married to a perfect man, you equally are not getting married to a perfect woman. That should be the ideology we take into marriage, because we overestimate people, and because of that we get less of what we estimate or expect from them. You see, in a relationship, it's two people who expect, not those who inspect. People enter into relationship as inspectors. They don't enter like people who expect. When you become an inspector in a relationship, you're going to cause serious problem.
How do you mean by inspector?
Inspector of police.
Okay.
Somebody who goes around inspecting things. Inspects almost everything the man does. And you expect almost everything the woman does.
You are saying that when the man is cheating, the wife should not become the inspector, and when the woman is cheating, the man should not.
I'm explaining this to you. Okay. An evil you don't know might never harm you. People
yes, that which you don't
stroke.
know won't kill you.
Yes.
Yes.
People develop stroke, high blood, heart failure because of the evil they discover. Nobody is kind to you to come and report your wife cheating to you. It's not helping you. Some people think is love, is not love. And no man is kind enough to come and tell your husband is cheating on you. Because why? This mentality of two forgivers, because first and foremost, you are getting married to an imperfect person. You don't know the person's background. People come from roots that have no resistance against women. If your grandfather has 16 wives, brother, fast and pray. Because anything you see in skirt, you won't be able to say no. Now, we don't know that people's roots influence their lives. We accept the negative roots and the positive roots. He's coming from a rich, that's why he's rich. The root is coming from an intelligent lineage, that's why he's intelligent. We also fail to understand that the root is coming from an adulterous background. Why do we accept the good roots and deny the bad roots? Even when you go to the hospital, sometimes they will tell you that, give me the medical history of your family. Do you think that that's supernatural? It means there are things that are wrong within the bloodline. Who has ever had diabetes in your family? My grandmother had it. My uncle had it. My grandfather had it. The historical health situation of your family line could be the reason why you are today. So if a man is adulterous in nature, let me say what Mr. Leo sang in his song. Mon ami faut supporter. Support. Because that's the simple truth, and nobody will want to hear this, but that's the raw truth. If you know you are getting to marry to a perfect person, and you carry it in your mind that you are getting married to a perfect person, then you have signed your death warrant. Just be somebody who is on a neutral gear that you can expect the worst. Just like a father who believes that at any time anything can happen to any of his children. If we overestimate people, we were going to get less than what we ever expected. Now, lastly, a man also can be influenced by evil spirits. There is this issue concerning men. Men are carried by their looks. Women are carried by touch. That's the reason why when it comes to adultery, you will find at least 80% of men falling to a percentage, a ratio of 20% women fall into adultery. Because why? Men are carried by their looks. Job said in Job 31, I have made a covenant with my eyes that I will not behold a maid. It means once you behold, all the elements will begin to work. What killed Samson was not the woman's sexual appearance. It was the pressure. He said, and the woman insisted to know the source of his power until his soul was vexed. There are some temptations that will come consistently, repeatedly, until your soul will get weary. Because that's the strength of the devil. The devil is a persistent agent.
But you are raising the causes for men to cheat.
I'm coming on women now.
Okay.
Are we not talking on both sides? We are talking about a woman as well could equally come from a root. Do you know that there is a medical case called Nymphomania? A woman that has uncontrollable sexual desire. Did you carry out any medical test to know who you are getting married to? Because sometimes you, the man, you're unable to satisfy that woman who is sick of that disease. She's called a nymphet. And then she comes home, you give her 1, 2, and then she doesn't get it, she must look for a neighbor. Now, are you going to kill somebody with a disease? Then you kill epilepsy. You kill those who have HIV. You kill those who have leprosy. There are natural phenomena that overtake people's natural will. That's the reason why tolerance, forgiveness, and compassion should be.
Let me be blunt with you, Apostle Ambe. I don't know.
You have to be blunt too, because that's how I'm being blunt.
Let me be blunt with you. Are you saying that you catch your wife with a neighbor today, with another neighbor the next day, and then
She's sick.
you have to forgive?
The wife should be sick.
I'm coming.
Yes.
Yes, I will forgive her, but I might not keep her. Forgiveness does not mean that stay in marriage.
You say marriage is a story of two
And
forgivers.
forgive.
Are you
Mr.
forgiving
Leo,
and parting with?
Tolerate.
Mr. Leo, Jesus Christ died to forgive the world, not so.
Yes.
Not so. Is everybody safe?
How do you say?
Forgiveness does not mean we stay together now.
Apostle Ambe. Apostle Ambe, you forgive her and ask her to go. Is that what you are saying?
That is what I'm telling you.
Yes.
Will you be able to stand? That's a sickness. That's a
Now,
sickness.
if you were the one, would you want to? If you were the
I
one,
will help her fight it.
No.
No,
What
I
I'm
mean,
saying,
if
what
you-
she
if
means
you
is
were
what
the
she
one
means
in
is
that
that if your wife
condition
if your wife were to
sees
catch
you
you
today with a neighbor,
yes,
neighbor behind,
would
tomorrow
you-
neighbor in
would you
front.
ask her?
What I'm saying
Would
is
you
that
still
in my
go
case,
away?
if I were to be the one, I will help. Love will help the other partner fight their challenges.
So why don't you
So
just
why
leave your
don't
wife?
you fight
I will
for-
help her fight the challenge.
and
I'm
let
not saying
and divorce?
I will help her fight the challenge.
And
if we cannot
divorce.
find any possible solution, then sister, I cannot help
Of course,
her.
it's not lie. Leave that story. Leave it.
Now,
That's the truth.
we are
Men always expect women to accommodate their weaknesses, but they are not ready to accommodate a woman's weakness.
okay. That is what we think.
Apostle just confirmed that.
No, I didn't confirm that.
Please,
I
Apostle is
said,
one man.
I said I'm going to use
He's
it to
one man.
fight.
Please,
Me and you will
don't
fight
talk
it.
like he has spoken for. He is one man. He's saying so. He has told you his mind.
Okay.
Now, would you do same?
okay.
It's not my time to talk.
Now, one of the silent killers in marriage is this issue of complex.
Complex,
That is, you are
yes.
living with a man or a woman, and anything the man or woman does
It's a problem.
actually to you is an insult. You are. How do we fix this?
When a couple is complex to each other, the root cause of the complexity should be dealt with. If the root cause of the complexity is not identified and dealt with, it's going to cause a quick and sudden death of the relationship. And there's another thing I just want to add, as per your question, the silent killers of relationship. In every marriage, there are 6 persons in the marriage.
Okay.
You have the man and the woman, the man's parents and the woman's parents. Those 6 people are constantly in every marriage.
Really?
There are marriage where the parents of the wife are influencing the marriage of their daughter, and thereby causing a very discomfort situation of the man. And there are also situations whereby the parents of the man is they're causing a very discomfort situation in the home, causing the wife to be in a very difficult situation. So each marriage, silent, one of the most dangerous silent killer in every marriage are these 4 extra persons in the marriage. In a marriage whereby
The in-laws.
In a marriage whereby the man is doing very well and gets married to a lady, she might be working as well. But the parents of the man will want to come into the marriage and say, your wife is eating all your money. Mr. Kum, this thing happened to me. I want to teach about, I want us to learn and avoid destruction of relationship. I've traveled a lot. I met a lady today, and those things happen. I traveled to another country. When I came back, I went to another country. She called me on phone that she was pregnant. I said only one time. You know, we have to educate.
But it happens now.
It happened. I said only one time. I said, okay, I'll have to wait and see because my face is a photocopy. I said, I'll wait. So that same time, my mother was upon me. That, why are you doing to this girl? You just knew this girl. You don't even know her. And actually, I don't know her. I've never known her. Just like that, I met her.
And something happened.
Something happened. My mother was saying, you don't even know her. Now, a time came for preparation. I spent over £1 million to prepare childbirth. When I told my mother almost collapsed. And the girl, she knew it, that my mother was influencing me upon taking her decisions. So the girl and my mother were fire and kerosene. I give money to the girl to give to my mother. She said, how is it possible to give you, to share the money 50-50%? I'm not giving. What I told her, I want to see how far you go. I send the money. I can go to the agency and cancel the operation. But I want to see how far you go. And finally, she didn't send. So it just destroyed us. I just said, from today, we are done.
Because of your mother.
My mother carried me 9 months, suffered for me, all these things, man. You know, these are the silent killers. Now, I'm saying something, I was very young. I was very young. Now, these are the factors that destroy home, they kill. Now, if I have a relationship, now I'm married, everything being equal. I was talking to my mother one day. I said, Mama, I'm on air, the whole world is watching me. I said, Mama, if we are 3 of us, and there's a situation that you, me, and my wife, and there's a situation that I must save one person, who do you think I will save? I told her I will save my wife. She put her hand on her head. I told her, you've made your life with your husband. I have to make my own life with my wife. So I have refused the external influence of my parents.
Now you have grown.
I've grown now.
Okay.
I won't allow my parents to interfere in my relationship. So, but there are some people who have accepted their in-laws to influence their marriage, and at the long junction, you discover that it has deteriorated the relationship, and they are going towards divorce. So, this issue of the 6 people in a home, if it's man and woman, let them be in their home quietly and peacefully.
Okay. Lady Ebony, writing from Limbe, says, good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm overwhelmed with today's topic. I think we can overcome the silent killers in marriage if both parties agree to accept each other the way he or she is, especially in our sex life. I think one of the silent killers too is complex. Most men overlook at what their women are doing, which is very wrong, and vice versa. Lady Ebony, glad to read from you. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I enjoy your programs. Please help answer this question. How do you live with a man that his weakness are more than his strength? Raina, writing from Bamenda, I'm sure, take note of that. You are going to answer that, Parchibel. Good evening to all the panelists. I am really blessed with your program, and I really want to appreciate Apostle Ambe and Apostle Divine for their great impact in the society. I have known a lot of things through them since I am about to get into marriage. Thanks a lot. Okay. Blessing is writing from Limbe. Good evening to you. Blessing. Good evening to you, Marie, watching from Limbe. Good evening to you all in the studio. There is no way a relationship will go without a listening ears. Women should stop looking down on their husbands. Always be ready to open up to your man. Isabel is writing from Limbe. Good evening to you, Isabel. Greetings to all on the platform. Love is accepting the weaknesses and strengths of the other partner, and closing their ears, mouths, and eyes from outsiders, distorting your marriage, and speak wisely even when differences appear. Joseph is writing from Kumbo. Good evening to you, Joseph. Greetings to all in the studio. Mr. Liu, please, when next such topics come up, I pray you bring 2 women or one who is also a fighter like the men, okay? I'm not saying this woman isn't responding well, but she's not speaking with fire like I would have loved, because there are so many points I hope she brings out. Okay. More grace to Apostle Ambe. He's sure is a counselor. Anne is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, and good evening, Mr. Liu, and the entire panelists of great minds with a very interesting topic. I'm happy you had a lady today in the panel. I'm learning so much from you guys. Aiden Vioff watching from Halifax in Canada. Good evening to you. One of the problems in our marriage today is comparison. Women compare with their men a lot. Alan is writing from Boya. Thank you very much, Mr. Liu, and good evening to you all at the studio. I think most difficulties in marriage is the way it all started. Once the wife comes to realize that what she was promised before marriage is not what she is getting, becomes a whole problem. I would like Apostle Lefor to take note of that. That is, you were light too, and then you discover something else, and it's causing problem. Yes, your response to what was raised earlier on.
She said, "It's how can you accommodate
a man who has more weaknesses than
strength?"
Yeah.
How did they first, if she were in front of me, how did they first of all get together in the first place?
Yes.
Yes, because it is funny. It's not like she wasn't aware. It's not like these things are new or they are strange. These are things we see them. But women have this tendency of thinking that they can always change. You cannot change an adult. It is impossible to.
Course, I was telling you, I said how to profile the man you are dating. Many people are dating and they're eating but fish, they're eating but shawarma, they're going but to club, and then after that you start saying they lied to me.
And then when the real man comes up now.
Yes, so that's that premise. Now that's one. Secondly, if that is the premise they gave to you, it means that this man may have understood that that is what you want.
Exactly.
It was sold to you. Yeah. Because if it changes now and you are changing, it means that is what you were going after. So first of all, you had the responsibility to find out. Secondly, if they are showing you, because a scammer or somebody, a fair man or somebody who is trying to deal to make a fraudulent deal, will always show you what they believe you want to see. So when you are inside there, but now if you were truly, let's take now for a case where maybe somebody manipulated results. For example, somebody went behind. Let's say the person had HIV. Let me give an example, like, because for someone like me, if I'm doing marriage counseling and I go to the level of doing medicals, I am the one who goes to my person, not one of the people you recommend. But let's assume they don't know this, and somebody can go behind and manipulate a result, for example, and they pay the doctor to give a wrong. That is devilish. That at such a level where your life is in danger, especially if it has something to do with your core value, your purpose, and your life is in danger. I say it here: leave and run and don't look back. If it is going to destroy your purpose, and I want to say this because we're already running up. I think the time has already come to an end. I want to really say this. You see, this relationship we are talking about, you must be able to understand your value. If you don't, somebody was asking how you can get the book, How to Deal with Feeling Unappreciated in a Relationship. I will recommend that book for every person to read. It will affect your relationship, whether it's husband, wife, and the jobs are everything. How to deal with that feeling. You must know your value, know who you are, and know whether you are suitable for the man you want to be with. Because these core things are what will always happen. I want to say this, Mr. Leo, even abuse is one of the silent killers. Abuse. Emotional, psychological, especially those ones that cannot be seen. Those are silent killers, because you see there are some men who cannot even walk again. The woman has corrupted their mind and say, this, you are good for nothing. Somebody tells you are good for nothing for 10 years, Mr. Lo, you will believe it. Like they have said that Samson was vexed in his spirit. You see, he gave up, and you even discover it's not even the Delilah who cut his hair. Who cut his hair? Delilah just gave the secret, and Delilah ensured that the hair was yes, and that's just it. So I want to encourage everybody. The numbers on the screen. I think last time we gave the number also for somebody who can who wants to get the book. If you want to place an order for the book, and you can get it from anywhere in the world, I think it will really help a lot of people. Somebody was asking there 675528266 675528266. If you have that, because we want to help people. So people are looking for value. You can even those people who get to Mr. Leo, please get to Mr. Leo. He will know how to because he's always here to help.
Okay.
We have
so
organized this.
If you need a book, just call me.
Yes.
I will send you Apostle Lefor Divine's number. Hi, Mr. Leo. Want to believe that a happy relationship is not only based on love, but on love and respect. A man can love his wife and maltreat her, but if he respects her, he won't maltreat her. Same as a woman can speak bad about to her husband, but it doesn't mean she doesn't love him. So let's respect our partners. Okay, this one is from my friend Kalis Choka, watching us from the nation's capital, Yaoundé. Kalis, hope you are doing well. Wow, good evening to you all in the studio. I'm Kenzie. P. Jenny writing from Bafang. I'm really enjoying the program. As for me, if I find out that my wife is going out with a man, I can't just forgive her just like that. Better is to divorce her peacefully, because if she remains with the things can never be the same. I will divorce her according to the Bible in Deuteronomy 24 verse 1. Good evening to all of you. May God bless you people. I like that program. I have a problem with my girlfriend. Her mother do not like me, but I love the girl so much. But her mother say I do not have money. Apostle Ambe, take note. You addressed that very shortly. Okay. Uncle Leo, please, can I have Apostle Divine's number? Can you just, after the program, send me those messages after the... Good evening to you all in the studio. Women should respect and listen to their husbands. Thank you. Roger is writing from Bomenda. Good evening to you all in the panel. I would not like a wife who would always challenge and compare with me and compare me with other men. For that reason, she is not always satisfied. How can one cope with that? Okay. Sonia is writing from Boya. Good evening. Irene from Small Limbe, please, I love that you dwell about on this. How do you deal with an adulterous husband who cheats, apologizes, but continues? See, he has kids.
Apologizes.
Yes, and then goes on to have kids out there. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Hans, writing from Douala. I think the only way both couples can stay together with no problem is to manage each other's weak points. Okay, good evening, Mr. Leo. Miss Hans, no, I got this already. Good evening from Berlin, Germany, and greetings from Angela Merkel. I love your program. Keep it up. Isong, God love writing there. Good evening to you, Godzi. Good evening in the house. Please, Mr. Leo, my husband keeps cheating and is always sorry and do it again. Should I keep forgiving him? Janine is writing from Douala. This keeps coming up. What happens? This one says, I forgive, but he goes on. The other one says, I forgive, he goes on, and even has children out there.
We call that necessary evil.
Eh?
It's a necessary evil. You see, like I said here earlier, there are people with disadvantages. I want to ask, if the man has a disadvantage in adultery, he does not have any other advantage. Weigh his advantages and his disadvantages in your life. Put it on a scale. You may go and look for somebody who will never commit adultery and you die of hunger. I told somebody that, I asked a lady, I said, which of them would you prefer? A man that has anger or him that commits adultery? She said, a man that has anger. I said, a man that has anger will cut off your head one day. He can kill you at any time. The truth is, there is no perfect man on earth. That should be. I think most of you need to read my book, The Winning Couple. If you read that book, it will help you. There is no perfect man on earth. Marriage is a war. And that same disadvantage you are rejecting in a man, another man is admiring it. You have to weigh how productive a man is in your life. If you are looking for a man that you get 100% blessing from me, it's a lie. It's a lie. They don't exist on earth. Such human beings don't exist. So weigh the disadvantages of his life and then weigh the advantages and see if you can support. Secondly, think of the psychological, emotional, and physical trauma your children may go through if both of you separate. We don't live together because we want to live. There are a lot of things that cause us to live together. The things that cause us to live together are stronger than the things that may push us to separate. That should be your reason. If what is causing you to live together is stronger than what can push you to separate, my sister, stay there. Because you may leave that man and get married to another adulterer. Before you realize, you have become the public toilet. You will be like the woman in John chapter 5 that say you have been married to 5 men. And even the one you are married to right now, I'm sure that woman kept marrying men that were adulterers. She married the first one and said, you are adulterous. She left and got the second. At the end of the day, she had gotten married to 6 men. Who is an adulterer now? She's a chief adulteress. Because she has gotten married to 6 men. To the brother who said that he loves the girl and the mother does not love you. Does the girl love you? Because marriage is agreement between 2 parties first. And you must know that in any relationship, it will never and ever occur in life. Watch it. That every member of your in-laws will love you. Not everybody. There are still man will love, mama will not love you, the father will love you. There's a people who will not love you, the man will love you. The issue is perseverance and tolerance until you scale through. Many poor have accepted marriages they did not want to accept because the 2 parties in question vow that if they don't get married, the entire place will burn. So it matters on the both of you first. You are talking about the girl's mother. What about the girl in question? If the girl tells you that because of my mother I cannot marry you, are not marrying a woman. You are marrying a girl. Because it is girls who still take instruction from their mother's house. But if you meet a real woman, they won't tell my mama, I'm respecting you, but you should understand when it comes to this man, we cannot. Because a woman that does not take her stand at that moment, if she gets married to you tomorrow by any gymnastic, mama will still have influence over her life.
Apostle, we are way beyond our time.
At least I should land now.
No, land.
Okay, I've landed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We just have to end here, unfortunately. Thank you for coming, Pastor.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here with you, to share our experiences, our knowledge on this topic, and I believe it has helped somebody to restore his home and to get an understanding on how to manage abuses in a relationship and how to deal with silent killers in a marriage. Thank you.
Thank you also, Parchibel, for coming.
We should be tolerant. We should learn to forgive. And we should be supportive of one another.
Okay.
If we want to have that peaceful and beautiful relationship we also want.
Okay. And to you, Apostle Lefor Divine.
Thank you so much. It has been a beautiful program, and I'm always excited. I want to say that in your relationship, let me start with those who have not yet married. I want to say, take time. Know who you are. Understand your purpose. Your purpose will create your relevance in your spouse's life. And that relevance will create your value. And it's this lack of value that makes abuse possible. Because when somebody values you, they will treat you well. And in marriage, there is something we call forbearance. And that's the reason why during dating and courting, you were struggling to understand. Understand a person, not just strength and weakness. Weakness is not a bad thing. Weakness might just be a limitation. So you study to make sure you understand this, and you forbear the other person's weakness. in the relationship.
Okay, Kali says, Mr. Lee, I would like to have that book. I will also advise viewers to read Your Happiness is in Your Hands by Wanja Walters. Search on Facebook. It helped me to learn how to know my value and not accept to over-compromise. Okay, Kalis, I sent you the number already. If you yes, they're talking about two books here. That of Apostle Ambe Valentine and the book of Apostle Lefor Divine. We want to say thank you. Just indicate and I will send you both numbers if you want to get a book. We want to say thank you to Desmond and to you, Eli and Noel, Bertrand, and to you, Tabi, Tambe Bryant. As from tomorrow, I am going to launch an SOS to help some prisoners who contacted me from the some prisons around in Yaoundé and Boya. They are in dire need, so I want to support them. If you are a fan of the program and you think you can join me to support them, please do so. There also are some IDPs in Tico who contacted me that I should help them. Please, as from tomorrow, I'll be asking you people who are watching this program every day if you can join me so that we can reach out to them. It's going to be very helpful. We want to thank you all for watching. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.